Hi, many of you responded to my video, and the one question that I got a lot of, and I'm so sorry, I've only picked these questions up because I really haven't been on YouTube, is what books did your children use for the 11 plus? In fact, somebody left me a message that was almost like, you have to reply today. I'm sorry, my life is so busy. Well, I'm going to tell you quickly what we did. Because my first son struggled with comprehension, we then went and got so many books. I bought 10 books at the same time. I mean, I was self tutoring, it had nothing to do with money. I just wanted to self tutor. Also, because I had no time to drive my child to where he would have gotten a tutor and all of that because of where we live. And because I was working, he was basically doing it on his own. That was my first son. So when we finished with my first son and he passed 8 of the exams and got 8 admissions, including passing to St. Olaf's examination, we just thought we might as well do it for the second one. And so you wanted to know what books, so let's go to it. First of all, a dictionary is very, very important. When I mean a dictionary, I mean a dictionary in all forms that teaches the child antonyms, synonyms, and all of that, because that is the core of the examination, no matter how you run away from it. Some parents allow their children to use the computer. I allowed my first one to use the computer to a great extent because he had only 2 months to prepare for the exams because we started very late. But for my second child and my third child, who is now preparing for the 11 plus, even though he's age 8, he's doing very well. No pressure, nothing. But if you start them early for at least their own age, like the free rice and all of that, if you do not know, you can actually use that. That is a very good site to use. Is called the free rice site, where if they get good punctuation, they get grammar and spelling correct, then they get rice for children in other countries that don't have money. I think that is what it is. Well, anyway, look for those free resources, and also you can use Bond. Bond is free, and we paid for Bond. We paid for Chokra. If you want to know the websites that we use, fine. But we use more of websites for my first one because, like I said, he was teaching himself, and because we paid for it, we could see his results even while we were at work. So we'll take turns. Hobby, let's not say take turns. Hobby was always checking and would know what he was doing because the results would come to Hobby at work and we could see what our son was doing. And that was very, very helpful. So you don't necessarily have to buy the books, you can use this website. Well, what I'm trying to say is if your child lacks strength in a particular area, like my son lacked strength in comprehension, so I bought about 10 books because I wanted to satisfy myself that I was doing it the right way. Because nobody could tell me whether the child should get the answers from the text or the child should read all of the text before going straight for the answer. So I had to educate myself, and that's what happens when you become the teacher of your children. If you do not know, we taught our children. I don't know if I've said this, but if you watch a previous video, then that might be why you're here. We taught our children, and it was learning through ourselves. It was equipping ourselves so that we could teach them rather than say, go read a comprehension book. I taught my child how to read the passage and then get the text out. But anyway, my second son decided he was really good at using the text to know the answers, and it worked for him because he too also passed and went into a super selective school. So I do not have a list of books for you. My advice is, what is the strength of your child? If your child is very good in maths, you will find out that you don't necessarily need to buy all the books in the world. But if his strength is in maths, but he has a problem, say, with algebra or whatever it is, then look for a book that helps that. Also, be very careful about using just bond books or let books because it depends on the exams that they're writing. My first one wrote 8 exams. I can't remember how many. I think my second one even wrote more. But we are on the border of Bexley and we in Kent. So we have Medway, which is in Kent. Well, that's one exam. We have SEM, which is CM, which is Bexley exam, and we have GL, which is the Kent exam. And when my son wrote the exam, that was when the government was worried that parents were just coaching their kids and their kids were not very clever, that they were just passing these exams because they were being coached. And the government changed the system whereby they just said, we will add some questions And nobody knew what questions they would ask, but we knew that they were special reasoning. So we bought books on cubes, on shapes, all of that. But when my son go into the exam hall, he was like, "Mom, Dad, what I saw they had nothing to do with cubes or anything. There were some shapes that I've never seen in my life, and I think I failed." Guess what? When you look at his results, he passed everything in the non-verbal and the verbal reasoning, one of the top ones. He passed everything, so it means that he passed all those shapes, the special reasoning and all of that questions, which he was worried that he had failed. So my point is, we didn't have a specific book for the special reasoning, but we prepared him in such a way that he was ready for whatever came. So buy the books based on that. Also, get some free online stuff. There's rsleducational.co.uk blog. There's so many I couldn't tell you. What is your child struggling with? Then go buy those books. I bought from Amazon, I bought from eBay. We have loads of books that we haven't used. We go let. I followed this mother to blue water one time, and we did a lot of mock, by the way. Did about 5 mocks, mock exams, that, and then we paid for the results and the breakdown of the results that showed us their strength. Anyway, I'm going to leave this here. I hope it's been very helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. But buy papers, buy multiple choice questions, buy reading books. If you want to buy Oliver Twist, Shakespeare, all of that, if you ask me, your child should have been reading those things before writing the exam. This is not the time to be reading Shakespeare and Oliver Twist and all of that. But then if they are chilled out like that, because some children are chilled out. I had a child who I taught only once and he passed just one lesson. So every child is different. And then there are the children who like to read books, so why not? But I think you should concentrate more on the questions, the pay for chakra, pay for bond. We paid for bond, but bond also has some free resources. Do you have any questions? Ask me. I need to get out of here, but I hope this has been very helpful. And whatever you do, you will be fine. Just put your mind to it and stop worrying too much. And rather than buy just the let or the bond, mix it up. Some children are good with bond, they're not good with let or whatever books. And get them to read the dictionary. It's so helpful, because while they go through the dictionary, they will see other words. I would rather that a child reads the dictionary than is reading Shakespeare and all of that. But you do know that most of these texts in the comprehension comes from all these books. So get them to read everything. But if you running out of time, concentrate on the multiple choice questions and all of that, trial papers. If you don't have enough money yourself tutoring, then go online. So many papers that can help. I hope this has been helpful. Anyway, the name is Delphine. Leave your comments below, leave a like, and let me know what else you want us to answer. And we'll come back to you, especially now that the kids are on holiday. Bye.